My name is Sarah Dalpiaz. I teach mathematics here at Spoon River College. And I agree with Bridget, titles are hard. I don't know how many drafts I had, and I will admit also that I used AI to help me tweak this one and have it come out. So anyway, plans, pivots, and pictures, the path that led me to Spoon River College. I first lived in Beardstown, Illinois, which is about 50 miles southwest of here on the Illinois River. A very small town, like 6,000 people. I lived in Illinois my entire childhood. I was a very quiet, timid, soft-hearted little girl, and I did have red hair at one point. When I was 3 years old, my family moved to Prairie City, which is about 30 miles west of here near Bushnell. I am the middle child of 3 girls. I have always been tall, so my older sister is on the right. My younger sister is on the left. And this was, I think it was a first day of school picture, but it's weird because I was in pants and it should have been August. But anyway, I cried all the time. I did not want to go to school. I did not want to leave home. I wanted to stay home with my mom. If she could get me on the bus and get me to school, I would cry, and sometimes she would have to pick me up. I didn't want to go to my grandparents' house. My other 2 sisters would go and spend a week with my grandparents and go to vacation Bible school, and I would cry and I would stay home. So, when I was in 3rd grade, until I got married, when I was in 3rd grade, my parents moved us back to Beardstown. Here's my sports slide. This is it. I started playing volleyball in 5th grade and played volleyball all the way through high school. The softball picture, the one that's on the poster, is a very, very small portion of my life. I picked it because it's kind of a funny picture of me. I'm surprised I have a uniform because, again, I was a very soft-hearted young girl, and I had a softball coach who was very loud, yelled a lot, and so during practice, I had done something wrong. She said, run around the park, and so I just ran home and cried and quit. So that was it for softball. So what did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a lion. No, I did not want to be a lion. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, really for as long as I can remember, from little all the way through college. I did well in school, even though I cried all the time, I still managed to do well in school. I would strive for perfection, wanted to get the perfects on the papers, which is probably not the best approach to education. We were trying to learn, not get perfects. I enjoyed helping my classmates, younger students, and finally started to kind of come out of my shell a little bit. So I was willing to be the school mascot, which I wouldn't have done several years before that. When I was from 3rd grade through 8th grade, I attended St. John's Lutheran School. This is the best picture I could find. The church is in the forefront and the school is in the background. Probably part of why I did a little bit better in school and was coming out of my shell was St. John's was a very small school. This is my graduating class for 8th grade. So only 7 students. There's a pastor and a principal in there, so only 7 students. I was so scared to go to the big high school. Oh my gosh, it was so huge. I had 7 students in my class here. The high school, the public high school probably had around 70 in each class. That was huge to me. Both of my sisters decided to go to public junior high. So in 7th grade, they went off to junior high. I'm like, nope, I'm comfortable right here with my 6 friends. I had more friends than that, but with my 6 classmates. But I had no choice. So, off to high school. Beardstown High School was only a few blocks from where I lived, which was super nice. I could walk to and from school, I could walk home for lunch, and I quickly adapted, even though I was so scared. The change was not nearly as big as I had imagined it to be. And I'm glad that I did, because what happened during my freshman year of high school? I met Brian. And we fell in love. This is my Brian slide.
Brian who?
Pick a Brian. This was from my junior year prom. So when I was a freshman, Brian was a senior. And I'm sure that people would ask or probably question my parents, how could you let your daughter date a senior? Oh my goodness. But it all worked out. I continued to be a good student in high school. I earned straight A's. I was involved in a lot of activities. National Honor Society, I did yearbook, I played alto saxophone in the band. Again, I did volleyball, I did a tutoring group for youth, probably missing a few. I finished third in my class, which was perfect, because I did not have to give a speech to a gym full of people. Third, right where I wanted to be. Well, not really, I would probably, I would. And my classmates voted me most likely to succeed. They spelled my name right in this spot in the yearbook. And I had some big hair. Still kind of do. But I tried to find the picture with the biggest hair possible, and this is what I came up with. I think this was from my freshman year, based on the names in the background. During February of my senior year of high school, Brian and I got engaged. Again, that was a better reaction than when we started dating. Again, I'm sure people are thinking, a senior in high school, you're engaged? Your parents let you, they didn't really have a choice, we didn't ask. So when I graduated from high school, I was ready to join Brian. Brian was at Western, I was ready to go to Western and join him there. I initially thought about elementary education. I don't know if I ever officially declared that a major, but I quickly changed to math education. When you're an elementary school teacher, you need to teach a lot of subjects, be passionate about a lot of subjects. I didn't feel like I had that passion behind all the subjects, so changed to math. I've always enjoyed math. I've had very supportive teachers throughout my math career. I'll name three of them. Mrs. Ryther at St. John's. I was taller than she was, I think, when I was in third grade. She was about maybe 5 foot tall. Mr. Kite in high school, the best math teacher ever. And then pick one from my college career, probably Dr. Jim Olson from Western. His passion for mathematics is almost unmatched. And then of course I had Brian, who was a math major, so a built-in tutor. So he helped me a lot through the ups and the downs and the angers and the frustrations. So after my first year of college, when I was 19 years old, we got married. Again, I'm sure there were people betting against us, thinking you're 19, you're getting married. Well, almost exactly, we've been married 29 and a half years now. So it lasted.
So far.
So far! You want to bet against us now? After we got married, very shortly after we got married, we moved to South Carolina. So we lived in Columbia, South Carolina, an enormous town. I thought St. John's to Beardstown High School was a big adjustment. Beardstown and Macomb to Columbia, South Carolina was a huge adjustment. Brian started working on his master's, I continued working on my bachelor's. The plan, finish in 4 years. Plans don't always work out the way we intended, but that was my plan. We did take selfies
You
before
both
they were
look so
popular.
happy.
You look so young. This was in our apartment in South Carolina, and behind the smiles, when Brian's mom and his Aunt Betsy left for the first time after they'd helped us move in together, we realized, oh my gosh, we're in this huge city, we have each other, we gotta find our way to the college. We've got to find our way to get growth. I mean, we've got to do all this stuff on our own. Again, you adapt to change more quickly than you realize. I'm trying to think what my, gotta look what my next slide is before I give something away. Yes, okay. So, Again, my plan was to finish my bachelor's in 4 years. Brian was almost finished with his master's. I thought if I continue taking classes at the University of South Carolina, maybe they won't transfer. Where are we gonna be? Where are we gonna go? So I took some time off from school. I'm sure she won't go back. I went back. In that time off, I did several little jobs. I was a telemarketer for a very, very short period of time. I worked at a restaurant called Tomato Rumbas. They closed. I worked at Books A Million, and I worked at a greeting card shop. I knew in the back of my head that I was always going back. It was never a question. I was going to teach. I was always going back. These jobs were temporary. But the first day when Brian went back to classes and I stayed home, I cried. Am I doing the right thing? Will I go back? And it worked out. Brian finished his master's degree, and a job opening was here at Spoon River College, so Brian got hired here at Spoon, and I came back to Western. So I started in Beardstown, came back to Beardstown, started in Illinois, came back to Illinois, started at Western, came back to Western. And I had a wonderful opportunity as an undergrad to supervise a math lab. And this was really my first time in front of the classroom. Mr. Ray Brinker would teach the lecture portion of the class to an enormous class. And then we would break it up into smaller sections and I would go over homework problems with the students. After my bachelor's, again, I had a plan. I was gonna get a job. I was gonna teach high school math. So I did my student teaching, I did a little substitute teaching. 5th grade is awesome. I could just teach 5th grade math. 5th grade is awesome. But didn't find a job right away. It worked out. Probably the reason I am a professor is because Raj Kalantari, Dr. Kalantari from Western, gave me the opportunity to teach, and Western paid for my master's. I did not plan. I was going to be done. I didn't want to get my master's. I could not pass this up. So he's probably the reason that I'm here. When people say that math, or if you're a good student, oh, it's easy. You don't have to work at it. You just get straight A's. It's hard. People have to work at it. There's anger. There's frustration. We were living in Cuba now, and I was sitting at the dining room table working on, I don't remember the class, so it's not as important to me now as it was then, and I had a gel-filled ink pen in my hand. And I was pissed. And I threw the ink pen, and then I was more pissed because it exploded everywhere. And on the wall, on the table, on the folder. I still have it. This is my reminder. But Brian was still there for me. I did clean it up. Well, you may have helped clean it up. I don't know. But so through all the ups and downs, the angers, the frustration, the messes. What else did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a mom. I always pictured having lots of children. So again, plans don't always go like you intend them to go, like you envisioned them, like you imagined them. So the story behind becoming parents. Our first pregnancy was not successful. So we lost a little boy and a little girl before Elliot was born. That's the part I have to get through. Okay. So that gave us a whole new experience, a whole new start to parenthood than we had ever envisioned in our minds. And then a short while after Elliot was born, there were several pregnancy complications with Elliot. He had several health problems, health issues as a young child. So we thought we needed to devote a lot more of our time to him and not hurry up and have another child. So there are always lots and lots of smiles in the pictures. I want to give you some of the story behind the pictures, but there are also lots and lots of smiles behind the picture. So there's my one slide just for Elliot. He was 6 months old in that picture. So proud of himself. We played big boy on the bed. He could sit up now. So exciting. So how did this path lead me to SRC? I taught for Western for about 5 years. When Elliot arrived, I took about a year off. There was a job opening here at Spoon River College, and it seemed just the perfect opportunity. We could teach together, raise our family together, and so that's what led me here. Our family continued to grow. So when Elliot was 6 years old, Oliver was born. One slide just for Oliver. Gotta balance things out. He was 11 months old in this picture. I always think you can tell how busy we are by the length of our grass. A few more family pictures. So our boys continue to grow. Elliot is taller than both of us. Oliver will be very, very, very soon if he didn't outgrow me while he was at school today. And hopefully our family will continue to grow. I love pictures. So the difficulty getting the title, it was probably more difficult narrowing down the pictures. I love family selfies. So I came up with this nice alliteration to finish off this slide, and I'm gonna get it. So Brian, the fantastic father to our children, and sweet husband of mine. Elliot, our happy, healthy junior at ISU this semester. Oliver, the ornery, outgoing Oliver. He's a freshman at Lewiston High School. I focused a lot on my immediate family, but I will have to say we have a wonderful college family who we've all grown to kind of love as our family. So what do I want you to take away from my story? Life isn't always as it's pictured. You have this vision, you imagine what it's going to be like, and you have to pivot from your plans. You have to change direction. You have to figure out what you're going to do when it didn't go as well, or it didn't go as you pictured it. But it's okay. And don't worry about what the other people think. She's 14 and she's dating a senior. I was technically 17, almost 18 when I got engaged. She's 19 and she's getting married. So we all grow and bloom in our own pace. Thank you all for coming.